everyone, welcome back to A Life of KG. So today on the show I have Lisa, and Lisa is part of my mastermind, and I've been working with her over the last few years since COVID in my membership, and she's doing incredibly well. So I really wanted her to come on and give us hints and tips because she has 2 salons and she has a training academy. So what is it really like to run 2 salons? What things do you have to have in place? All of that kind of stuff. I've had a chain of salons before, so I could really resonate with what she was saying. So without further ado, here she is. I want to give a shout out to Sky Premium Life products. Now, you will know from last year that I was testing all of their supplements and I absolutely love them. They were a sponsor on this podcast last year and they also are this year. I have tried all of their supplements, from collagen to their hair tablets to they've got focus tablets, anything that you need help on with your body system functioning, whatever that is, they have help. And I just love them all. I would highly, highly recommend them. We also started selling it within our business, making extra money in the salon with retailing the products. And because they're extremely reasonably priced, clients are loving them. Lots of my clients were also using them and they're selling them in their businesses too. So if you want to grab a discount, you get 15% off their products. The link is in the show notes. If you want to sell it within your business, reach out and I'll tell you exactly how to do that, or you can just message them directly. But I highly, highly recommend you take these for your own well-being. And I also recommend, if you have a business, that you're selling it within that too. Hey Lisa, welcome to the Life of KG. How are you?
Hi, I'm good, thank you. You?
I'm good. I'm so excited to have you on, seeing as you're like a wealth of knowledge. So I know the listeners are going to love it.
I can't wait to share. So, but yeah, good fun.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so introduce yourself for those that don't know who you are. Who are you? What do you do? Give us a download.
So I am Lisa and I own Perfect Hen, 2 salons in West Sussex. And I also have lots of other things that I do as well. I have a training academy. And yeah, that's it really. I've been in it all my life, my whole career. Started right from the beginning all the way to where I am now.
Amazing. So take me back then. You said you've been doing this like your whole life. Like, did you have a beauty job before this? Like, tell me the background.
So just really, I left school. I loved school. I loved being the social side of school. I wasn't academic at all, but I really enjoyed going to school. I had so many friends, and was just, I loved the social side of it. Always talking, always gossiping, getting into trouble. But yeah, I loved it. But I came out with the worst GCSEs, and even to today, I still can't spell. My girls at work love our WhatsApp group because they're in like Lisa's world. So they have to really convert everything that I say, but they get it at the end of the day. So when I left when I left school, I felt like in those days, like we're going back to 1996, it was really the route of going to college to do beauty or hairdressing. So I went and I did an MVQ level 3 in hairdressing and beauty. And I absolutely loved it. I felt my passion was more for beauty, because I hated the client looking at me in the mirror, what I was doing, which is crazy when I look at it now, because one of the main things that I've always done is nails, and I'm so close to clients. But that person looking at me in the mirror just really put me off. So I became student of the year after my MVQ level 3. So yep. And then my career just started from there, really. I just loved it. I loved my teachers. I got so much enjoyment from learning from them. And yeah, I got my first job in a local salon that was opening up a Dermalogica skincare centre. And we're literally like, what are we now? 1999. So it was like one of the first salons. And I feel like I just got into the world of beauty at like a real good time, when it was just starting to become not women with just money that had beauty treatments. It was starting to be open for everybody. So yeah, I started off as a junior, and I just actually last month went back. I keep everything. Like I'm not a hoarder, but I do like to keep everything. And I was on like £1.82 an hour.
Oh my God. Can you imagine if it was still like that?
No, and like I can only imagine that's how people feel nowadays when they are a junior or an apprentice. But I learned so much and I learned to grow myself as a person, and I literally just thrived from learning. So I worked really hard as a junior. I did treatments I hated doing. Obviously, I was very young. I had my first male massage that I had to get through the fear point. And just, yeah, really helped this salon. There was downsides as well. Like it was in a hair and beauty salon. And that's when I really learned that I feel personally we're two different worlds. We're two different kind of people. Um, there was bitchiness in the staff room, which I hated. I felt sad sometimes, demoralized. Um, and it was really hard. And I actually, from every job I've taken, that's the one job that I always go back to thinking, I'm never going to treat my staff like that. I'm never going to get them to do the things that I was made to do, because there just wasn't the support from everyone, where I think I've built a team that we support each other. So from there, my story just goes on, because don't forget, I'm getting older. So I did lots of different salons, did hotels, spas, even worked for myself, even being young, mobile, care homes. Um, and then I decided I split up with my boyfriend at the age of like 20, heartbroken. So I thought I'm going to go and live abroad. So I went to Gran Canaria for 3 years,
Did
and
you?
yeah,
I didn't know that.
yeah, 3 years enjoying the sunshine. And yeah, I worked in a spa, an amazing hotel spa there, got myself a job. And then after that, I got a moped and went around and did people's nails, and I loved it.
Oh my God. I had no idea. How have I been working with you for all these years and didn't even know that? I love that.
Yeah, so and obviously I kind of look back at that now and I see that as like my university years. So I then got independence and had to like pay my own bills. And obviously I was living the life in the sunshine and a bit of a party world. But yeah, I felt like that was like my uni years. So yeah, I learned again different skills out there. And then I came back, my mum wasn't very well, and I came back and I was like, really realized what family was about and that I wanted to be home. So I then set up for myself just in my mum and dad's garage. And looking back now, how on trend was I? I had this beautiful garage conversion to myself that had a nail bit, a beauty area, and a spray tan room. Like, how lucky was I?
I'm like so lucky because everyone was actually die for that right now.
I know. And that is like where my real journey of perfect 10 started.
Wow. So let me ask you something. If you could like, obviously you love your salon, so I mostly know the answer to this. But is there any times where you're like, I wish I just had my garage back?
Oh, 100 times, 100%. And also, I feel like now, like when we've gone through so much over the last few years, our industry, it is the biggest growing home business now, is people setting up at home. I would probably retire doing something like that, but
Hmm.
there is no place better than being in a salon.
No, there's just not the same vibe, is it? But I do think, oh, imagine not having all that stress of all the outgoings, the staff. But obviously, then you've got to do the treatment yourself, right? So for
Yeah.
us, that's what the different part is.
I do love doing the treatments though. I'm still hands-on.
Yeah,
So,
you do.
but and one of the main reasons I still do treatments is because I had an employee that come from another salon, and the main thing she kept on saying to the other girls is how she loved working for me because I was down with them. I understood what was going on instead of being in a office like dictating. Um,
Mm.
she loved the fact, and it really hit like a point on me. And I was like, actually, that's good. And I do learn problems and mistakes by doing the treatments. Um,
Yeah,
and I
100%.
get what the girls are talking about. And if I didn't do that, I wouldn't understand them anymore.
Yeah, I completely resonate with that, because obviously after all the years of doing treatment too, at least I can go, right, well, this is what's wrong, or that's not what's right, or feeling what the girls are going through. Like, it's I definitely think that you've got a head start if you're already a therapist or hairdresser.
Yeah,
Um, there is ways around that. You'd have to have a bloody good manager if you didn't. But yeah, I completely agree. Oh, so obviously we was on WhatsApp last night having our little midnight debates like we do, which we love. And you obviously mentioned that your first salon was hair beauty. I've had hair salons and I've had beauty salons, and I've always said hair's a completely different industry. Why do you think that is, and what's so different?
I think we're just different people to a point. Like, okay, we're all creative. But I feel like I I don't want it to say like we are in a bad way whatsoever, but
Mm.
beauty is like we're calming, we're talking to clients. It doesn't, the actual atmosphere I feel is what I mean is hair and beauty don't go well together unless you can have them totally separate within a business. I feel that would be fine, but our mindset of therapists, and for me more so than anything, is that I'm all about beauty. I would find it really hard trying to manage, like I said yesterday, a group of hairdressers. And when I go and get my hair done, I feel I have a busy nail salon. And I feel that gives a bit of a hairdressing vibe, but I feel hairdressing salons are so much more bigger, bolder, crazier, busier. The hair dryers are going all the time. It's louder.
Mm.
It's a hustle and bustle where I feel we're trying to go in as a calm experience.
Yeah, I agree. Do you think that hair and beauty salons work together? I guess you kind of answered that because you're like, if it's two completely separate. But I remember when I started in the industry, you would have already been in the industry. So this is 15 years ago. And there was hairdressers everywhere. There wasn't salon, like beauty salons, hardly anywhere at all. It would be a hairdresser's, and then they rent space within the hairdressers, and then that would be the beauty bit. And I was
Yeah.
always like, this isn't going to work. And actually nowadays it does seem to be more, you're either a hairdresser's or you're a beauty salon. But obviously over the years, there's more beauty salons now than there was 15 years ago. What do you think?
I feel it works if they're kind of it has to be separate is what I feel. Just having the room in the back of a hairdresser's is not the same vibe because personally I feel like a client has to walk through all the hairdressing bit to get to that back room, and they could have had an intimate wax, for example. They could have had any treatment, and when they're going to come out, I can guarantee clients are going to be hairdress clients are going to be sitting there having their hair done, thinking, "Oh, I wonder what they've just had done."
Mm,
So I feel it does work if it can be kept separate. There was a salon local to me, and I feel she got it right. She had amazing reception in the middle. Then you went through one corridor and you had this beautiful hairdressing lounge. And then you went through another corridor and then you had the beauty lounge. So that worked fantastic. And her front of house were amazing because they were a reception of looking after front of house. Then
yeah.
she would have a hairdressing bit and then she had a beauty bit. And that for me was just perfect because it didn't matter that you're sitting in reception because you're dressed, your clothes, no one's looking at you, but you go off to your own section.
Mm.
So for me, I felt that worked really, really well. I just think it's harder for therapists, me personally, when I'm doing a massage, is what I felt. And I can hear the hair dryers going, the music blasting, and the client might not even hear that, but me as a therapist, it stresses me out because I'm trying to give this nice, relaxing treatment, and I'm panicking this client can hear all of this.
Yeah, definitely then comes down to the setup, right? There's a salon near me, amazing salon, and quite similar. You walk in, it's got the reception, but then you go upstairs one floor, it's the beauty, go upstairs the third floor, and it's the hair, but it's all one salon. I mean, a dream salon, right? I'd love to have different levels to the salon. But yeah, that works really, really well. But it just depends on like that atmosphere you're creating. Like I would hate to have a massage and be able to hear hair dryers. Like that's just not cool at all. But we did have a blow dry bar. We opened up the first blow dry bar in Bedfordshire, and because it was like in and out, we had a brow station as well, and the brow station worked really well. But then when we opened up to the hairdressers and introduced like color and cut in, we had to let the brow side go because it was like this just isn't blending well whatsoever. So I completely agree with you on that.
And I do feel like we've got people in the group that are in a hairdressers but their whole business is separate and they're upstairs and it's run totally separate. It's run by therapists and it works so well because it's their mindset is about the beauty world and the hairdressers is about the hair world. But where they're so separate, but even in the one building, it works really well.
Definitely. Okay, so let's go back. So you had your perfect place in your home. Why did you then think, okay, I need to set up a salon? Was it because you were just so busy? Like, where did that vision come from?
So I actually went and worked for Virgin at the airport. So I live really close to Gatwick Airport. So when I came back, I got a job at the airport and I was a check-in girl and I absolutely loved it. But I also built my business around my friends and colleagues at work. So they would then come to me and get their beauty treatments and nails done. And then I fell pregnant and in 2005, and I just didn't want to go back to the airport. So I took my whole maternity leave for the year. And then I decided while I was on maternity leave that I kept on doing my clients towards the end. And this is what I was wanting to do. So that was all going really well. And then I got engaged and then I went down to a wedding dress shop, just got on so well with the lady that owned the shop. And she just told me that next door was available and it would be great to have like some kind of salon in there. And I thought, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? This is just like such a great opportunity. And my biggest fear, which obviously you know more than anyone, is money. Like I am so like conscious of how money is spent. So I walked away and I thought, do you know what? All my clients at home, even if I didn't do one client in the salon, I could still afford my rent. And so I might have to work at home still and in the salon because the salon is 20 minutes, half an hour from where I live. So I can't expect clients to want to come there. So I thought, I'm going to do it. So in 2007, March, I was getting married in June. I had a 2-year-old and I decided that's what I was going to do. And that was the birth of Perfect 10.
Oh my God. So I want to touch on something you said, which is money. Do you think then being in business, and obviously you've grown to 2 salons now that we'll touch on, but doing your pricing structure, has that helped with what your money mindset is? Or do you think it's been more difficult to set your prices because of how your money mindset is?
My money mindset is my own personal problem. Like it isn't my parents. I have nothing I can say. My parents were really good, always supportive. I was really, really lucky. My problem is I lost my mum and dad, and then I found myself on my own. I've got my husband, really happily married, but I just felt very lonely on my own. I felt like I didn't have any support or anyone to go to anymore. You know, just for example, if you're like £10 short on something, or is there any chance I could borrow? Can you help? I don't have anyone like that. So it's all on me now. So I then became very conscious and very scared of how I spent money because I always wanted a little pot there of a safety net all the time. So I'm very conscious of how I price my treatments and I make sure they're done properly and it's affordable. But I probably hold back an awful lot on the spending because I'm nervous of giving it away.
Yeah, I get that definitely. And would you say then you're also careful on like your stock management and stuff like that? Because I know that's a massive downfall of salon owners. They're like got salons full of stock, and I'm like, guys, your cash is literally tied up in all your stock. But are you more careful on that?
Yeah, like stock over the last few years since I've had my second salon and since COVID, I've really changed my business. Like it is so different now. I feel like I actually have a company, like everything is in place. I have procedures, I have policies. And yeah, COVID, my stock, I had lots of beauty products like that all had to be redone and reordered. And yeah, so literally my stock control is really tight. I only go to companies, I work with companies as well that don't have massive minimum spends.
Mm.
Um, I find that really unhelpful when they're needing you to spend like £500 to £1,000 when really you only need like 4 or 5 products, and that's to be able to retail. So I'm careful who I spend with. I really look for the right companies, but I also only order from professional companies. And directly from them as well. So I know that I've got the support and the comeback. If something's not right, I can send it back to them. If something comes broken, I can get my money back or it gets replaced. Where I've got the 2 salons, I do buy in bulk. So I buy bigger sizes and then I separate it between the 2 salons.
Mm.
So the stock will go to one salon and then it will go off to the other salon.
How was your like transition with having 2 salons? Like what was the story behind even opening 2 salons?
So it's a crazy, well, not a crazy one, but like I just mentioned, I lost my mum and my dad. Well, when my dad passed away, there was a little bit of inheritance, not a lot, a little bit, and it just sat in the bank. And my husband is a plumber, and he was doing first fixings on this premises, which was about 10 minutes from where we live. And he just came home and he was like, oh my God, it would just be an amazing salon. It's got disabled entrance. It's like really big. It's got a car park. And I was like, I'm not interested. And the main reason I wasn't interested is because I had just started getting over the trauma of losing everybody. So I felt like I was just starting to relax in my first salon and I wasn't needed so much and I could start being a bit more of a manager, not a now technician beauty therapist working 24/7. So I was just starting to get my life back a bit. And then he said to me again about it and I was like, no, I'm not interested. And then I was having my hair done and I heard a whisper that the hairdressers were looking at another premises. And I was like, is that the one? So without fear of missing out, I was straight on the phone to my husband and I was like, right, let's go and see this shop. And then I went there and it was just literally, it didn't even have a floor, it had no walls or anything. It had just been built, no windows. And I was like, do you know what? Let's just do it. Let's see what happens. And that's where it came. So 2019 summer, I opened that and it was beautiful. It's a beautiful, beautiful salon. It is decorated so lovely. The atmosphere in there is so calm. It's so relaxing. It's such a beautiful place to work. But COVID hit.
I was gonna say that was literally like so close to COVID.
Yeah, COVID hit. And then I was just really lucky that I had done everything right. So I could furlough everybody. I could get all my grants. I could get all the support that I needed. So I'm proud to a point that I actually did everything by the book because there's so many people that were unable to do things because it wasn't set up correctly in the first place. And it isn't anyone's fault. And you know, I'm really passionate about this because there was no support for small independent business owners of how to actually run a business.
It did definitely create this shift and this, I guess, yeah, just a shift of, okay, who set up their businesses correctly and who didn't. And then everyone like trying to figure out, okay, what is right? Because like you said, there isn't that much education out there on it. And there was, most salons weren't set up correctly, which was just such a shame. Like teams not being able to be furloughed and not being able to get the government support. Like, oh my God, scary stuff. I would love to introduce you to Flawless Beauty Accounting, which is owned by Ariella, who specialises in providing exceptional accountancy and bookkeeping services tailored to the beauty, hair and aesthetic industry. Her modern and personalised approach sets her aside from them traditional accountancy firms. Her mission is to help beauty business owners navigate through that crazy world of tax and business finances. Ariella has helped her clients save over £1 million since she established Flawless Beauty Accounting back in 2020. To contact Flawless Beauty Accounting, you can click on the links in the show notes, and Ariella is giving a huge 50% off your first month.
And I just don't feel it was anyone's fault, because before COVID, we didn't have the education that we have now. Like our industry stopped for 9 months. And what we learned in COVID was I learned how to actually run a business properly and correctly. And that's because I was able to stop, and Zoom was there. And like, I never knew what Zoom was until COVID. We had, what was it? House pod? Not house.
Yeah, like the Zoom parties of everyone was on Zoom.
Yeah, and we had that that other app that we used to go on and talk on.
Oh, Clubhouse.
Clubhouse, yeah. So like every Monday we'd sign up and listen into like the beauty world, and it was fantastic. And it just like all the support, everyone, yourself, and all the other independent people that were coming out and supporting our industry, and we just all got to learn and grow so much, which for now is amazing, because I feel that's what changed me as a business owner. Was I actually learned so much and been able to put so much in place that now I can sleep at night. I haven't got to worry about things. I have everything. I have HR companies. I know how to pay my girls.
Yeah, completely changed. The way you spoke about your second salon, is that your favorite?
It's really weird, because I don't have, everyone says I have favorites, but I don't have favorites.
No.
It's really weird, because the first salon actually, I've always said, is the baby. Like, that's perfect 10, and even my children see perfect 10 as like a sibling to them. Like, it's been in their lives the whole time. Like, my son will say all the good things go to perfect 10. So it's really, I don't say I have a favorite at all. They're just so different. Like, when I opened the salon, the second salon, I actually had the same business model, same products, same treatments, same prices. How wrong was I? It just wasn't the same. It wasn't the same salon. The clients were different. The area was different. The staff are different. So I had to learn really quickly that the business model had to change for it to be right for each salon.
That's really, really interesting you say that, actually, because when we work with salons that are franchise salons, the franchise salons only work if their business model is like the same setup as their first salon. So, for example, if they're in a village, they have to then go and find a village that's like a similar kind of village feel, like rather than go from a village to like a high street salon. Like, it's such a different way of running a business, and like I said, the type of products you have, like all of those things, which is, I guess, why you needed to change it.
100%. It was like even the staff were different. The other thing is like the first salon I've had for years. So I'd had it for like over 10 years before I opened the second one. So I'd actually molded that salon and my team. So it didn't need to be there. It still run as if I was there. Now I've got this other salon. It's starting again from scratch. Those girls have got to learn to know me again, and how my way of doing things and my way of thinking. And just the area is so different. The second salon's in a village. It's so different. They're both amazing, and I'm so lucky to have such good teams and such good clients, and two beautiful salons.
We've got a village salon in Bedfordshire, and then we had one of our franchise salons in Essex on the high street. Completely different ball game. Completely different. And when I first done that, I was like, whoa, why is this not working? Like, but you have to literally be like, this is a completely different salon. to what the
Yeah,
first salon is.
definitely. And I say to anyone that's going to open up a different salon is like start from the beginning, like literally do it as another new salon, not taking your what you've already got and just thinking it can come over, because it really doesn't. There's so much behind it that I learned from even client spend. Do you know what people want to spend? Age group of clients. In the village, I have lots of we have lots of mums. So our weekends are really quiet in the village, where our other salons are high street and it's so busy. And that's when I need all my staff. So in fact, we're going to close every other Saturday in our village salon, because I just feel I want more of a vibe the Saturdays that we are open. I want everyone working instead of it just being slow and like just crazy. But I always say to clients, if you ever need an appointment, phone up on a Saturday in the village, because that's when we seem to always have space.
Yeah, I bet your team love that they're closing every other Saturday.
I know. It's good though, isn't it? I'm really excited. Like, it's a trial and I'm going to see how it goes, but we have to move with the generation, I feel, and that's what everyone's wanting now. They're wanting that work-life balance, and I think to get the best out of your team, and that's we've got to change a little bit and look and what we can do to offer that right balance. So we'll see.
Yeah, I agree. And you're extremely good at that. You're very good at changing things, like what are people needing like in this year, rather than thinking, especially I think it's so easy because we've been in industry for such a long time. Sometimes we can get stuck in our ways as therapists that have been therapists for years, or salon owners that have been salon owners for years. But what worked 10 years ago doesn't work now. And you're very, very good at changing that. I mean, we've only just changed our Saturdays to starting earlier and finishing earlier. So then if they're going out on a Saturday night, then obviously they can do that. But yeah, you're really, really good at doing that. So yeah, your team are very lucky.
I'll make sure they listen to that.
Yeah. We'll highlight that part of the video. What would you say has been the hardest part of having a second location? Obviously, there was all those changes, but how did you find when it comes to like management and running two different teams?
Yeah, stress levels really high, because now you've got double the bills, double everything really. To start off with, I didn't know whether each salon should be running independently or whether I do it as they come together, so all both salons' money goes into one pot, or do I keep them as separate? Do I keep the team separate? But after getting some advice, my team go between both salons, which is so good. It was hard to start off with, but once they get used to it, they love being in the different salons. They feel like they're going to another workplace, which I feel is really nice for them. The hardest thing, I think, probably was really throwing myself back into like hours and hours of work again, because you're now worrying about two of everything. Like, I was that boss that wouldn't go on holiday with my family. I'd turn up 3 days later because I had to work. So it's really hard. It's a difficult question because it's both salons are always going to be hard work, but the challenges the challenges are just double really, but it's getting it right. I put in team leaders. I had a team leader in each salon. I then have got staff that have been with me for like 17 years. So they really are passionate about Perfect 10, and they care about the business. So I was lucky to have them as like support for me. What I did do when I came out of COVID though, is I did take on some young girls straight from college, and I trained them myself. So I grew my team quite quickly, and that really helped as well, to have more people working in the salons, because you've just got to spread yourself too thin otherwise.
Yeah, definitely. And I always say like opening a second branch is like just completely a different ball game. People think, oh, the first salon's doing really well, so now I open up a second one, but the first salon's normally holding up the second one. Like, it's really difficult. And if you haven't got the systems in place, then a lot of the time, unfortunately, it doesn't work.
And like, someone years ago, before I even did a second salon, said like it would never work because you need two of you. And it always did put me off. And it was one of the things that always stood in the back of my mind, like, God, how am I going to be able to like split myself? But if you've got good teams in your first salon, your salon's right, then the next salon is literally, like I said, starting from scratch and growing it and having it as two separate businesses. But looking back now, would I have done it? It's still a question mark. I just have two lovely salons with amazing team. Whether I get financial gain out of anything more, I probably don't. But I love it, and I love my job, and I love my business.
You are so in love with it, like so in love with it. And obviously working with you, like I can see that, like it is just true passion for you, which is beautiful.
Yeah, I love our industry so much. Like, we're so lucky. Anyone that comes into it now is so lucky because it's evolved so much. And it's just getting it right. It's just having the passion. It's not going into it as I'm going to make a quick buck or I'm going to make all these thousands. That's great if you do. That's amazing. But if you've got the passion, you will do so well. And the training and everything else. So we're lucky because there's so much out there now for everybody.
Definitely. So two salons weren't quite enough though for you. You decided to then let's open up training academy.
I know.
And it's not an academy that's within the salons, right? You have a separate base for that. So tell us about the academy and why you felt like setting that up, because I know you've got huge passion behind that too.
Yeah, so I felt like I've been teaching in colleges, I've done for companies, I've gone around to salons, had people come to me, and then I've gone to colleges from around the south. And what I found as like now as a salon owner is what, what do I find? I find that the education is just not there anymore. And it's not this college's fault, it's not the teacher's fault. It's just what they have to play with. And it is so difficult that these girls and boys are coming out of college that are not employable. And even now, it's going to be harder because where minimum wage is going up, they then become unaffordable now because they're not employable. So when we came out of COVID, I really realised how lack the education was. So I took on four young girls that were qualified, but their qualification literally was on one person, and it was just one leg wax, one underarm wax, one manicure, and they didn't even know what they were doing. So I then took every Wednesday out of my salon, got all of them out of the salon. So bearing in mind, this is costing money, losing money because no one's doing any clients. And I retrained them for 4 months on everything. And they now, I've got two of them still with me. They are the most amazing therapists that I love them, and I watch them grow into these amazing, amazing therapists where clients are coming out and they're like, they've got magic hands, or the reviews are all 5 star, 5 star, 5 star. So what I then decided is I am an assessor, an IQA, an EQA, and I looked into it more and I realized I could have my own training academy that is regulated. So I knew that anyone that I was going to train would have a regulated qualification. So they would then be insurable. They would be also looked at as an employee as a real good education. But not just that, they would be employable. Or if they didn't want to go and they wanted to go and work for themselves in their cabin in the garden, they would feel really, really confident about it. So I actually opened Avenue, which is in West Sussex, which is a VTCT training academy. So we teach MVQs at the moment, 2 and 3. And we also do accredited courses. My main passion is to look after every student that comes through my doors. So I am there the whole time for them. So when they just do one course, they can still contact us and we will feed back to them and help them. Every 3 months, we do an open day where they can just come in with their model and practice and help. We can help them and show them things potentially that they're just missing and losing. there's so many people that have just done, even myself, like I've just gone and done a 1 day course and got nothing out of it at all. And I've never spoken to that person again. They didn't reach out to me. And that's fine. That's absolutely great. But that's not who I am. I want to give every single person that opportunity to go out there and do what they want to do and be successful and be employable.
I love that. And recruitment is so hard now. So if there's salon owners listening to this, they can send their staff to you, right? They could get someone that isn't trained, and then you could literally train them up completely. Is that right?
Yeah, 100%. So I'm actually just in the process of doing like a 6 month course timetable that salon owners can send their therapist to us. And we can just literally from all other salons, and we can all have like workshop days because I'm really lucky. I have always have great beauty brands behind me, and they will literally give you out 6 months of courses that you could attend. But there's no one out there for salons that don't have those big brands and have that opportunity. It's even just like learning new massage techniques, learning how to do a luxury facial instead of how can they up their treatments, up their client experience. Um, so yeah, it's definitely exciting, and I love working with like all these girls and all these therapists that come through the door. And it's really hard because people go to me, do you see it as competition? It's not at all competition. Like perfect 10, and then the salons are them, the girls that work in them are great, they work really hard, the clients love it. But Avenue is about beauty therapists
Mm.
that want to be good at their job and be supported.
It's funny you mentioned about competition, because I always remember people going to me, you're literally training everyone in your area on eyelashes. Like, why are you creating this competition? I'm like, it's really not. Like,
Mhm.
it's really not. I don't see that at all. Like, there's so much room for everyone within this industry. It doesn't matter how many people think, oh, it's oversaturated. It's not. Um, there's definitely like plenty of room for everyone, and actually really proud of the fact that most people in the area have been trained by me.
Yeah. I want it to when a salon owner sees that they've been trained at Avenue, they will go, oh, I'll get them in for an interview because they know that they've had good training. Whether that's they get the job, that's obviously down to them. But by knowing that they've come to us and we've given them the correct training and they're competent and they're able to start their journey in that salon, that's my goal.
Yeah, that's so good. So we met in lockdown. Is that when we first met or
So
connected?
I did loads of like learning and Zooms and calls and just listening. And obviously I am a major podcast fan. I love podcasts. So I was addicted to your podcasts and loved listening to all the stories and everything else. And actually when you're driving to work, I find podcasts, yourself and some others, just so inspiring. They get me going, especially if I've got a team meeting. I just listen to something and feel, oh, I'm going to throw that one in there.
Mm.
So I definitely recommend it to anyone to like listen to podcasts because it really does help when you're driving, and when you're coming home, it helps relax you as well. So, but yeah, I met you in COVID. And like I said before, I am quite funny with voices, so I have to like the voice to be able to like take it in. So, yeah, it was fine. So I met you, and then I joined your CCC, and then for me, more than anything, to be really honest, I just needed to be around other salon owners.
Mm.
Um, I like in the group, I know so much and I give so much out to everybody. Um, and for me, it's being in a community and knowing that actually, it's like I say all the time to like our girls in the group is doesn't matter how long I've been doing it for, I still have your problems.
Yeah, 100%. Because you're part of the mastermind now as well. We're like
Yeah.
8 or so months in, and we've been away and we've had in-person days. And I do think it doesn't matter how long you've been in this industry. Like, we always do have similar problems.
Yeah, 100%. And we still all learn from each other. I keep going on. I love learning. I like literally will learn from every single girl, whether they're at home or have two free salons, etc.
Mm.
So, but we still have the problems of the people that are sick. We still have the problems of the no-shows. We still have the dreaded VAT bill. Yeah, it's good to be around other like-minded people. That's the biggest thing about it.
Mm. What other takeaways would you say that you've had from joining the mastermind?
Well, I loved going to Marrakesh and having the sunshine in January. Well, that was just like, oh, I definitely need to go away every January now. And I definitely
Oh God,
actually
definitely.
need to go back to Marrakesh because I loved it. So everyone says when you go to Marrakesh, you find yourself. And I was like, I'm not even into anything like that. And actually, I came away from Marrakesh and I actually did find myself. I
Mm.
actually, for the first time ever, looked at how well I've done. And I've never, ever done that before. I've always just gone, oh, yeah, I just pay the bills. Oh, yeah, I just do this, do that. But it's the first time I walked away and I thought, do you know what? I have got an amazing salon, two amazing salons. I've got an amazing training school. I've got amazing family. And now I've got amazing friends.
Yeah, amazing. Okay, so where can people connect with you if they want to reach out?
So well, I've got so many, haven't I? So my salon's a Perfect 10 Burgess Hill, Perfect 10 Copthall. So come and have a treatment anytime. I love therapists coming in. I love treating other therapists. So if you're local, then obviously please come in and see us. We'd love to meet you. My training school is called Avenue Academy, and that again is in West Sussex, Burgess Hill. And I'm just about to do like a homepage and it's going to be called Lisa and Co, where you can then just click onto that and you can go to any of my links from there.
Amazing. Thank you for coming on. It's been a pleasure having you.
Oh, no, thank you.
Are you a trainer with a salon or an academy and would love to grow with government funding, but just need some help and support? Or maybe you're somebody that would like to start your own academy or even just train. Get in touch today with TMB to help you on this journey. See our link in the show notes.